Welcome to a brand new Chronexialogy, where we tackle the Monogatari franchise as spoiler-free as possible. One of the biggest and most popular story in the anime industry. If you've never heard of this show and you want to get into it, this is the video you need. But before we can get into that, it's important for me to tell you that this series is based on a series of light novels. The anime got adapted from them and the timeline is mostly chaotic. For the sake of this video being of a reasonable length, I will only cover the anime order. Now, before I start listing you the events, I need to tell you there is two ways to watch this franchise. The most recommended method is the broadcast order. Monogatari is a series that is meant to have a confusing puzzle assembling pieces ambience, and you should only watch the chronological events if you're already familiar with the story, since watching the story from beginning wouldn't necessarily introduce the character properly and would most likely end up confusing you even more. But maybe you're into that. I mean, my professional opinion is to start with the broadcast order, and that's what everyone else will tell you, so let's start with that! The broadcast order started in 2009 with Bakemonogatari. This introduced Araragi, the main character, who's a vampire, as well as 5 of the many girls in this franchise. Araragi is a kind guy who tries to help people with their supernatural problems. The franchise is renowned for their colorful play on words, great comedy, and impeccable character development and story building. In Bakemonogatari, you will find 5 arcs spread over 15 episodes. Those are the Hitagi Crab arc, the Mayoi Snail, Suruga Monkey, Nadeko Snake, and Tsubasa Cat. Keep in mind that the final 3 episodes are original net animation. Anyway, following that is Nisei Monogatari, which came out in 2012 and has 11 episodes covering 2 arcs. Those arcs being Karenbi and Tsukihi Phoenix. This season focuses on Hararagi's sisters, Karen and Tsukihi. After that comes Nekomonogatari Kuro. It was an original net animation of 4 episodes and covers only 1 arc, the Tsubasa family. This one came out in 2012 as well, and it concludes what's considered to be the first season. From that point onward, in 2013, you have Monogatari series' second seasons, which is 23 episodes and 5 arcs. Those arcs covered the light novels Nekomonogatari Shiro, Kabukin Monogatari, Otori Monogatari, Oni Monogatari, and Koi Monogatari. It's a lot of big Japanese words, but for what you need to know, the second season sums up all of these together. After that, in 2014, they released Hana Monogatari. It's only 5 episodes long for 1 arc, the Suruga Devil one. Next up came Tsuki Monogatari with the Yotsugi Doll arc, only 4 episodes long. Third Tsuki Monogatari is Owari Monogatari Part 1, 12 episodes, 4 arcs, and it came out in 2015. Those arcs being the Ugi Formula, the Sodachi Riddle, Sodachi Lost, and Shinobu Mail. Then in 2016 we got the Koyomi Monogatari. 12 episodes for 12 arcs. Since the arcs titles can be spoilery, I'll skip naming them, but that would lead you to Kizu Monogatari, the movies. Kizu Monogatari is 1 arc divided in 3-part films. Teketsu-han Koyomi Vamp Part 1, followed by Neketsu-han, and finally Reiketsu-han, which comes out in January 2017. So yes, I'm aware this franchise is still ongoing, but from this point onward, it becomes mostly speculation and conjecture with the light novels. But next up, we should be getting Owari Monogatari Part 2. No release date so far, but this would cover 3 arcs, Mayoi Hell, Hitagi Rendezvous, and Ugi Dark, leaving out the remaining light novel stories like Zoku Owari Monogatari, Oroka Monogatari, Waza Monogatari, Nade Monogatari, and Musubi Monogatari. But now that we've seen the broadcasting order, which again I can't stress enough that it should be the way you jump into the series if you're new to it, we can tell you about the event order. Keep in mind though that this event order is with the knowledge of all data related to the franchise available in December 2016. If the author decides to make a new book in 2020 and it screws the timeline, I couldn't be aware of that. The official story timeline begins with Kuzu Monogatari, followed by Neko Monogatari Kuro. Then you have Bake Monogatari, Nisei Monogatari, Kabuki Monogatari, which I remind you is the second arc of the second season, Oni Monogatari, which is the fourth arc of the second season. Next we jump all the way to Owari Monogatari Volume 2 to come back to the first arc of the second season called Neko Monogatari Shiro. Also, I think it's important to point out that the events that happens in Neko Monogatari Shiro happens concurrently to Oni Monogatari and Owari Monogatari, the two that played before that. Anyway, after that you have Owari Monogatari Volume 1, then it's Otori Monogatari, the third arc of the second season, and Koi Monogatari, which is the final arc of second season. You have Tsuki Monogatari that comes up next, Owari Monogatari Volume 3 that we don't even have as an anime material, Zoku Owari Monogatari, and finally Hana Monogatari. Look, don't worry if I lost you somewhere in there, it's really confusing. Unless you live and breathe for this franchise, I think anyone should keep to the broadcast order. So I'm gonna recap them, because at this point you already know all my gibberish, or your brain is melting out of your ears. I'll cut the extra fluff this time and only tell you about the title that you should worry about. Bake Monogatari, Nisei Monogatari, Neko Monogatari Kuro, Monogatari second season, Hana Monogatari, Tsuki Monogatari, Owari Monogatari Part 1, Koyomi Monogatari, Kizu Monogatari, which I remind you is 3 movies, Teketsu Hen, Neketsu Hen, and Reiketsu Hen. And that's all we have at the moment, but speculation leads us to believe next we'll get Owari Monogatari Part 2, Zoku Owari Monogatari, and what I assume is going to be Owari Monogatari Part 3, plus whatever extra they decide to add on top of it. The entire Monogatari franchise is meant to be confusing and you not entirely getting what's going on all the time on your first watch. It's definitely a series that has a lot to offer if you're willing to give it a chance, but it's not a show I recommend for newcomers. Either way, I hope you guys enjoyed me clearing up the timeline for this awesome anime. If you did, I'd really appreciate if you could leave a thumbs up. I had to do a crap ton of research to make sure I don't mess up anything. I think I got everything right, but let me know if I screwed up somewhere. Thank you for your time, and I hope you have a wonderful holiday season. If there's another Chronexialogy you'd like me to do in the future, make sure you leave it in the comment section below, and I'll catch you guys next timeline.
Hard times, I've been on the wrong side, I've been ashamed. So many memories, you know I'd like to change.